Well, well, well. I don't know where I was going with that one, but we're back with another video. I don't know.
What a day. Well, what a day.
What a day it's been.
Yeah. How's it going, everyone? The big Arsenal-Chelsea derby happened today, and I think it went about what we kind of anticipated with a Arsenal loss. I mean, that's what we're going to talk about today, and it is very frustrating because I think I'm going to title this video something like painful, because it's painful at this time. It's painful at this point. Not so much it's painful that Arsenal lost again, but it's almost like you almost wanted to get killed out there to have a good case to send Jonas packing. Now, they didn't get killed. They played okay. So does this mean Jonas has a second life or a third life? Or are they going to keep him around even longer? It possibly looks that way.
Don't make me do the cheer again.
Oh, yeah.
The chant.
People like the chant, though.
Oh, I'm not going to do it again.
The big Arsenal-Chelsea match played at Emirates. And like we said, going to this match, Arsenal was definitely the ones. I know the underdogs for a lot of reasons, but less rest days. They had a lot of things going against them. But going into this match, I think a lot of people were... Actually, I'm going to be honest. I don't think a lot of people going to this match were that optimistic. Yes, it was at the Emirates. I'm going to be honest. I think a lot of people wanted them to lose really badly. So to get Jonas out of there, because that would have solidified, hey, this isn't working. I guess we'll start with this title.
Pressure piles on frustrated Jonas Edeval as Chelsea best Arsenal at Emirates. Swedish head coach is moving into must-win territory with his next two matches after dismal start to the season continued.
That was kind of an optimistic title, but then I go to goal.com and they have this title.
Leah Williamson just got schooled by Maya Ramirez. Winners and losers as Chelsea forward proves she's a WSL megastar to leave Arsenal boss Jonas Edeval on the brink. The Gunners showed fight in the second half, but it wasn't enough as their manager suffered another damaging defeat with Ramirez, the primary tormentor. Was that Jonas Edeval's final game in charge of Arsenal? The Gunners suffered a 2-1 defeat to Chelsea on Saturday, which leaves them with just 5 points from their first 4 Women's Super League fixtures. It's a division which has only twice been won by teams that have dropped more than 10 points across an entire campaign. After draws with Manchester City and Everton, and now this loss, the Gunners' total already sits at 7. Their title hopes have already taken an almighty hit.
Some people are a little more optimistic about Jonas staying around. But this one was kind of hard because you thought, okay, maybe if they got smashed by Chelsea, it was going to be a foregone conclusion that Jonas was going to get sacked ASAP. That didn't happen. And it's hard too because Chelsea didn't actually play that great. I see a comment here. It says, as a Chelsea fan, I thought we were fairly bad, but luckily Arsenal were too. It did not start out good for Arsenal, and it started out pretty bad. And I actually thought when the game started, okay, it's going to be a thrashing. It's going to be bad. In the 4th minute,
Maya Ramirez.
Beautiful. I mean, such a fun goal. I mean, these are the kind of the goals over the head. Such a fun celebration.
I love that.
It's always fun to have a fun celebration against like your rivals, but such a fun over the top goal. I mean,
that's iconic.
It didn't start out well. The first 20 minutes, most people thought Arsenal, although they had a bit of a spunk in them, they didn't look great. The defense didn't look great. Then in the 14th minute, I think, another Chelsea goal, a header from Baltimore. It was Lauren James to Baltimore. And again, it wasn't looking good.
But it's really good for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Those are some nice goals.
It didn't start out well. Then in the 44th minute, I believe, Caitlin Foord had a beautiful, she did this whole goal herself. A beautiful goal from the angle, went in. It was gorgeous. That was all the scoring, but it started out pretty bad for Arsenal. After that, they actually played pretty good. They didn't play bad. Chelsea didn't play very good. Second half, again, Second half, Arsenal actually played pretty well. They had a few opportunities. They had most of the possession. They played well. They just didn't play good enough. In the 85th minute, Stina Blackstenius came so close to scoring. She hit the crossbar. But Arsenal had an pretty good second half. And it's just so frustrating and painful. It's like, although they played okay, Chelsea didn't play that good.
I was low-key kind of hoping they would lose big, so then that would really give Jonas the boot, but that didn't happen. But obviously don't want them to lose that bad, but you guys get it.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are saying they don't want him to lose, but they want Jonas out. They comment even from the Instagram, Jonas out. I mean, Jonas out button. I love that. And then somebody brought up a good point. Someone says, "What was the point of signing Kafaji if she's just going to sit on the bench the entire game?" Mm-hmm. And that goes back to Jonas. What is he doing? Putting such a quality player on the bench. I saw keeping her on the bench so long. I saw a lot of comments like that. And then again, Jonas, enough is enough. Jonas should be sacked immediately. And then a lot of people go back to this. I'll have Sara read this.
The moment he let Miedema go, we should have known this man knows nothing about football. I mean, well said. Well said.
I guess my point is, I don't think the fans will ever be back on Jonas' side. And I keep saying the idea as if he starts winning again, maybe. I think he's gone past the point of fans having a redemption arc. I actually do. I think a lot of times you start winning, it's okay. That proves the point of once he let Viv go, and sounds like a lot of it had to do with his decision. People just thought there's no redeeming for him. You get what I'm saying?
You could say that once he let her go, people will never let this go.
Yeah. And I think that was the start of it.
Or something that sounds good like that.
Especially because Viv is playing so well over at Man City right now. I think, he lost the locker room, he lost the fans. And until they get a new coach in there, even if they say, well, what's the point? Let him ride out the season. Let's be the coach. What if they get a new coach in there and it's just as bad? A lot of people are talking about Casey Stoney. Apparently she was at the game today. Casey Stoney was at the game.
Hashtag replacement.
But a lot of people love Casey Stoney, but one of her problems at San Diego wasn't scoring goals. And Arsenal isn't scoring goals. And that's the other thing. Are people more blaming the defense or are they more blaming the attack? I see a lot of people blaming the defense. The first 20 minutes, the defense wasn't very good. But then obviously the attack hasn't been great either. They haven't been scoring goals. It's like there's a blame to go around everywhere, But it seems like the players, I actually believe the players really don't like Jonas. And I've thought that for a while. And a lot of people think that. But I was gonna title this video embarrassing, because it's not embarrassing what happened today, because today they actually didn't play too bad, but just this whole thing of it's Arsenal, it's the Arsenal, and they're on such downward projection that to see them struggle like this, it was such quality players, is upsetting. And to see Jonas, in his press conferences, he does seem defensive. I guess, of course, you're going to be defensive, And, I remember Casey Stoney got fired from San Diego, and it's like, was she even given a chance? Seems like he just doesn't have no one has faith in him. Like, realistically, the players don't seem to. The fans, definitely don't. And then I see people here say, do our players even care? And that's another good point. Are the players just kind of like, I think they care, but I just don't think they they feel like the plan is not good, They're
trying to destroy him. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And then people said here, better game than Bayern, which is true. Proud of you girls. So people are just saying it was better. It wasn't a bad game. And then someone goes, weirdly, our best performance of the season dominated the second half. Yeah, second half looked good. Chelsea didn't look good. But when you're at home and Chelsea doesn't look good, that's when you really have to win and look better. You get what I'm saying? That's when you really have to turn it on. And it just didn't happen. And then someone goes, that's because Chelsea let you have the ball, but your attacks were toothless. Yeah. Is that a problem with the attack? Jonas? And then it says Arsenal just needs to get their confidence back. Chelsea will drop points to Man City, and Man City will drop points. So they're saying, even though some people are thinking the race is gone for the title, Chelsea's gonna Chelsea doesn't look great either. So there's a possibility not all hope is lost, but people are saying it's not going to happen with Jonas. Sack Jonas on the spot and get Casey Stoney, who was also at the stadium today. Yeah, I saw that a lot. Another day, another opportunity to sack Jonas, but the board will be like, no, one more game. Yeah, and I guess that's the owners, the board who own and operate Arsenal. They're the ones who decide, and they like him. I don't know. How much longer can we put up with this manager? Change is needed.
We totally outclassed Chelsea in the second half, but it was too little, too late. It's just October, and we are on the sixth. We are sixth on the log, with 4 points out of a possible 12 from 4 games. Chelsea has 1 game at hand. We can as well write this season over. Edival has to go. Please, Arsenal, what will it take to sack Jonas? He clearly isn't the right person to lead our girls to glory. How many seasons are we going to wait for this group to be at the top like we used to dominate before?
Yeah, and it's like a lot of people are saying, hey, a few things. Other teams are just getting better, or, I don't even know. And then, I did see titles around the web like this that were a little more optimistic.
Arsenal women remain hopeful for the title despite setback against Chelsea. Despite a disappointing 2-1 loss to Chelsea, Arsenal women's manager Jonas Edival expresses optimism about their title chances. The defeat leaves Arsenal in 6th place with only 5 points from 4 matches.
Yeah, so I saw people who were optimistic. Obviously, that's Jonas being optimistic about himself, too. But it's just hard because if today was a big smashing, I think they would have had no choice to get rid of Jonas. And this is almost like worst case scenario in some ways, No, actually, I think winning big would have been a worst case, to be honest, because that would have been, Jonas would have had more time left in him. So, yeah, like I said, I think I'm going to do the thumbnail, call this video called Painful, because it's painful at this time, especially for Arsenal fans, especially since Chelsea didn't play good, but they were at Emirates, Is this Jonas's last game? I don't know. I'm torn. I thought it was a foregone conclusion, but now I'm just, what if the ownership, the board wants to keep him for the rest of the season, see what happens? But I honestly think he lost a lot of people when he was almost dismissive of Viv. When he let her go, he seemed like dismissive. Oh, she, almost treating her like she wasn't Viviana Miedema.
I know. Like, he did her so dirty.
Yeah. And it seemed like he lost a lot of people. And no one has faith in him. And who has faith in him? That's pretty much the video. Yeah. I mean, we will see at this point. This is going to be our 3rd Arsenal video in a row. We were going to move on to something else. But it's just a shocking streak of what's going on from the Everton draw to... And they have a Champions League game on Wednesday. I mean, I think they're going to win. But if they don't... I mean, at this point...
What then?
I wouldn't even be shocked if they didn't win.
Yeah. What then?
Yeah. Questions, comments down below. What do you think? Are you an Arsenal fan who is just, what's the word I use? Defeated. Do you feel completely and utterly defeated at this point? Or is it, this kind of reminds me when the US Women's National Team started losing a lot. Then there was a stretch where they lost, they tied. It's almost, you kind of get numb to it after a while. You're like, oh, okay, we kind of lose now. We kind of tie now. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? We will see. But Casey Stoney was in the house, and we'll see if something's going on there. Also, Emma was there. I'm sure Emma was quite excited to see her old team beat Arsenal, because they historically had a tough time beating Arsenal at Emirates. They didn't play bad. That's the hard part. Arsenal did not play bad. They actually played pretty good the second half, but we will see. Questions, comments down below. What does everyone think? Questions, comments down below. We'll talk to everyone later. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.